Thank you, Terrence. Hi, everybody. So what I'm going to do right now is actually demonstrate what's called a cloud in a bottle. So I'm actually going to show you how to make your very own cloud. Now, you can do this at home. There's not a whole lot that goes into this, but I also thought for the purpose of this lab, I'd show you as well. Usually when I teach this lab on campus, I show people. So here's what you need. So let me scooch in a little bit. So what you need is an empty water bottle like this, the little water at the bottom. And the reason why you need this little water is because this is where the water vapor that's going to saturate the air in the rest of the bottle comes from. Now, with that said, I also have for this first part a temperature strip here. This is the same kind of strip that you can get at a place like an aquarium store. And if you take a look, we can zoom in just a little bit. Right now, the temperature, not pretty warm. So it's 64 Fahrenheit or 18 Celsius. So here's what I'm actually going to do. To demonstrate how the cloud in a bottle works, I'm going to first just squeeze the bottle, and we're going to talk about what happens once I squeeze the bottle. So let me squeeze the bottle down here, have my hands on it, and squeeze. So here's what's actually happening. If you notice, and you actually zoom in just a little bit, don't think this thing was perfectly tight. There we go. If you actually zoom in, what'll actually happen after a couple of minutes is the temperature inside this bottle will actually begin to rise. And the reason why the temperature inside the bottle will begin to rise, it was on 1864, now it's on 2068. Let's zoom in, there we go, it's on 2068. Well, the reason why the temperature inside the bottle is rising is because when I push this, when I squeeze this, I've just compressed the air inside here. I've packed it into a tighter space. This happens whenever air sinks. When air sinks and you squeeze it and it compresses, that actually tightens the space, and that actually causes warming. On the other hand, I've just let go of the bottle, and let's give it a moment. Usually it's not as quickly evident here, but what usually will happen is that the temperature inside the bottle will actually go back down to the original temperature. Usually it's not as quick, and this time because I've had my hands all over the bottle, and that creates heating, and so you get lots of heat from the hands that ends up conducting into the bottle. So I'm not going to focus on this too much. If you wanted a really good example, maybe a bigger bottle would be better. Another good example, though, is I've got this hairspray right here. This is Tresemme Extra Firm Control Hairspray. I don't really need it right now. Definitely not right here. But so what this is this is actually a liquid that has been compressed into this canister at the ambient temperature of this room. So this liquid is the same temperature of this room. But if I were to shake it up and spray it on my arm, I actually felt it to be a lot cooler when I did that. And the reason why is because all of that compressed air, when it shoots out, it expands. And that expansion causes cooling. Now, if you don't believe me, with your parents' permission, or whatever, if you're over 18, go get a hairspray canister or a canister of compressed air. And just for a second, don't do it for long, just spray it on you and see what happens. It'll actually feel pretty cold. And again, the reason why is because this air was compressed when it shot out, it expanded, and expansion leads to cooling. If we actually check back on the bottle, actually, here we go, check back on the bottle. Can't see it too well, but it's actually back down to 18. Okay, so basically what I want you to get from this is when you squeeze something, when you squeeze air, that causes warming to occur. When you allow it to expand, that causes cooling to occur. So as air rises in the atmosphere, it actually will expand. It's entering an environment of lower pressure, causing it to expand, causing it to cool. Now with that said, there is moisture inside this bottle. And what actually happens is, inside this bottle, some of this water is actually evaporating as we speak. And that's actually raising the dew point temperature inside this bottle. Since there's more evaporation occurring, higher dew point temperature. And since there's a higher dew point temperature, the air here is becoming more and more and more saturated. Eventually it actually reaches saturation. And then what I can actually do is raise the temperature inside this bottle. That causes a little more evaporation to occur, and then let go. That's going to cause it that's going to cause the air to immediately cool, and that's going to create a cloud. Now with that said, in order for you to get a cloud, you need 3 ingredients. 1, the water bottle, 2, the water, and 3, some kind of solid aerosol particle. Now I'm in my office here at De Anza College, so I'm not going to burn anything. Like smoke is usually the best example of this. And smoke is the one I would recommend using. Take a match, light it, put some smoke in here, and then squeeze and let go and watch what happens. But I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to use, first let me get this thermometer out of here. If I'm lucky. Yay, I got it out. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is this same canister is what's called an aerosol can. And what that actually does is there's actually some solid particles in here that act as aerosols that then the liquid droplets in here connect to. They actually condense on it and spray out. So what I'm going to do, okay, done. So now what I just did is I just sprayed a little bit in here, and so I'm going to give it a moment to kind of swish around. So what I've just done is I've added some particulate matter in here, some what is called condensation nuclei, solid particles that water vapor can stick to as it condenses. Now here we go. Make sure it's nice and tight. Squeeze, and let's do that one more time. Squeeze. This time I'm going to hold it for a couple of seconds. And do you notice, one more time, squeeze, and if you actually take a look, the air inside here actually